Welcome back. In the first episode, we followed a man from his very first breath into this world. An orphan, a shepherd, a trustworthy young man, a loving husband, and finally, a prophet receiving his first message from the heavens. That message was simple. There is one God. Worship him alone. Treat all people with justice and mercy. Speak the truth. Stand for the weak. It was a message of light, but the world it entered was not ready for light. And what followed was a storm unlike anything you can imagine. This is the story of that storm, and the man who walked straight through it. After receiving the first revelation, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, did not immediately stand in the streets and shout his message to the world. He was patient. He was careful. He began quietly. The very first people he approached were those closest to him. Khadijah had already believed. Now came Ali, his young cousin, only 10 years old, living in his home. One day Ali saw the Prophet praying in a way he had never seen before. He asked what it was. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, explained, and Ali, without hesitation, said, "This is the truth. I want to be part of it." Then came Zayd, a young man who had once been a slave, who had been given his freedom and chose to stay with the Prophet out of love. He believed without a second thought. And then came Abu Bakr, one of Muhammad's closest and most respected friends, a man known for his gentleness, his wisdom, and his good heart. The Prophet told him about Islam. Abu Bakr's response was immediate. "If this message comes from you, then I believe it, because you have never lied." Abu Bakr did not stop there. He began bringing others. Quietly, one by one, people who trusted his judgment began entering Islam. Each one, a small light, added to a growing flame. For 3 years this went on quietly. Small gatherings, honest conversations, one heart at a time. But the time for silence was coming to an end. One day the command came. Go public. Warn the people openly. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, climbed a hill called Safa, a place where important announcements were traditionally made. He called out to the people of Makkah. They gathered, curious. He asked them, if I told you right now that there is an army behind this mountain about to attack, would you believe me? They answered, yes. We have never heard you say a false word. Then he said, I am warning you. Leave these stone idols. They cannot help you. They cannot hear you. There is only one God, and I am his messenger. The silence that followed was heavy, and then it broke. His own uncle, Abu Lahab, stood up in rage. He cursed the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, out loud, and walked away. And in that moment, something changed in Makkah. The Prophet had publicly challenged the most powerful people in the city. Their wealth, their idols, their traditions, their control, and they were not going to accept that quietly. The reaction was swift and fierce. The same people who had called him Al-Amin, the trustworthy one, now called him a madman, a liar, a magician, a troublemaker. They said he was trying to divide families, destroy tradition, ruin society. They tried everything to stop him. First, they offered him a deal. The leaders of Makkah sent their most respected elder, Utbah, to negotiate. He sat with the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and laid everything on the table. You want money? We will make you the richest man in Makkah. You want power? We will make you our king. You want marriage? We will arrange the most beautiful woman in Arabia for you. Just stop this message. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, listened patiently until Utbah was finished. Then he simply recited some verses from the Quran. Utbah walked back to his people pale and quiet. They asked him, what happened? He said, I do not know how to explain it. What I heard was not poetry. It was not magic. It was something beyond anything I have ever encountered, he told them. Leave this man alone. But they did not listen. When money and promises failed, they turned to mockery. They laughed at him in the streets. They threw garbage outside his door. Children were encouraged to shout insults at him when he walked by. Dust was thrown at him while he prayed. Animal filth was placed on his back while he bowed in worship, and every single time he cleaned himself, raised his hands to the sky, and prayed for them. Not once did he curse them. Not once did he raise his hand against them. Not once did he lose the calm dignity that lived inside him. The leaders of Makkah knew they could not touch the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, directly. He belonged to a powerful tribe, and tribal protection was the law of the land. But his followers, especially those who were poor, foreign, or enslaved, had no such protection, and so the cruelty turned toward them. Bilal was a black man, formerly enslaved, who had accepted Islam. His previous master dragged him into the desert, laid him on the burning sand, and placed a heavy rock on his chest. He was whipped, burned, and tortured, all to make him say the names of the idols. But Bilal looked up at the sky and said one word over and over again. Ahad, Ahad, one, meaning there is only one God, no matter how much pain they caused him. That word did not change. Eventually, Abu Bakr purchased Bilal freedom and brought him to safety. But Bilal's story became a symbol of what faith really means. Not faith when life is easy. Faith when everything is against you. Then there was Sumayyah, a woman of old age, a mother who had accepted Islam. She was tied up in the sun, beat, and tortured by the leaders of Makkah when they ordered her to reject Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and return to the idols. She refused. She was killed for that refusal. She became the first martyr in Islam. Her husband Yasser was tortured to death beside her. Their son Ammar was forced to the ground, burned and beaten until he spoke words against his own faith under unbearable pressure. When he came to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, weeping with shame, the Prophet, peace be upon him, say it to him gently. If they return, then you may say the words again to protect yourself. What matters is what is in your heart. The Prophet Muhammad felt every one of these stories. He walked among his followers and comforted them. He said, be patient. A day is coming when a woman will travel from one end of this land to the other alone, fearing nothing but Allah. But you are a people who are being tested now. He was building something that could not be destroyed. Not faith made of emotion, faith made of conviction. As Islam kept growing despite all the pressure, the leaders of Makkah made a drastic decision. They would cut off the entire tribe that protected the Prophet. A complete boycott. A document was written and sealed. No one was to trade with the Prophet's tribe. No one was to marry them. No selling of food. No buying from them. No social contact of any kind. The document was hung inside the Kaaba, the holiest place in Makkah, to give it weight and authority. And just like that, an entire community was pushed out of the city into a dry valley with barely any food or shelter. For 3 years, they lived there. Adults grew thin. Children cried from hunger. They ate leaves off trees. They chewed dried leather when nothing else was available. The sounds of hunger and suffering echoed through that valley every night. And the Prophet was among them. He did not find himself a comfortable corner. He shared every hardship equally. He comforted the frightened. He encouraged the week. He led the prayers every single day. Then, after 3 years, a few men of conscience in Makkah stood up and said, "Enough." When they went to remove the document from the Kaaba, they found something astonishing. Insects had eaten through almost the entire document. Only one line remained untouched. The words, "In your name, O Allah." The boycott ended. The Muslims returned to the city, but the hardest days were not behind them. They were just ahead. Shortly after returning to Makkah, the Prophet faced 2 losses that broke his heart. His uncle Abu Talib, the man who had raised him and protected him for decades, fell seriously ill. The Prophet sat beside him and said softly, "My uncle, just say one sentence. Say, 'There is no God but Allah,' and I will speak for you on the day when no one else can." But Abu Talib looked around the room. The leaders of Makkah were watching, and in his final moments, he said he would die on the religion of his forefathers. The Prophet walked out of that room with tears he could not hold back. And then just days later, Khadijah was gone too. The woman who believed in him first. The woman who held him when he was afraid. The woman who gave everything she had for this mission. 25 years of love. And now she was gone. He lost his protector and his love in the same terrible season. This time became known as the Year of Sorrow. With Abu Talib gone, the Prophet, peace be upon him, had no protection in Makkah, so he walked to a nearby city called Taif, hoping they would listen. But they laughed at him and sent people to throw stones at him. He ran. His feet bled. His body was wounded. He sat down exhausted against a wall in a garden outside the city, and there, bleeding and alone, he raised his hands to the sky. He said, "O Allah, I complain to you of my weakness. I am small in the eyes of this world. If you are not angry with me, I have nothing to fear, but I ask only for your mercy." He did not curse anyone. He did not ask for revenge. His only fear was that Allah might be displeased with him. And the heavens answered, not with words, with something far greater. One night, the angel Jibril came to the Prophet with a special creature called Al-Burak. In moments, it carried him from Makkah all the way to Jerusalem, to Masjid al-Aqsa, one of the holiest places on earth. And inside that mosque, all the prophets were waiting. Ibrahim, Musa, Isa, Daud, and others. And Muhammad, peace be upon him, was asked to lead them all in prayer. Then Jibril took him upward through the 7 heavens until Jibril himself stopped and said, "I cannot go further, but you have been invited." The Prophet continued alone. He reached a place no creation had ever reached before, and there Allah gave him a gift, the gift of 5 daily prayers, a direct connection between every human being and their Creator. When he returned and told the people of Makkah, many laughed, but Abu Bakr said without hesitation, "If Muhammad, peace be upon him, said it, I believe it." From that day, Abu Bakr was known as Al-Siddiq, the one who believes completely. The earth had rejected him. The heavens had embraced him. The Prophet had spent 13 years in Makkah, 13 years of patience and pain. But now, a new door was opening. A city far away had sent a message. "Come to us. We will welcome you. We will protect you." And that invitation was the beginning of everything.